Hey everybody, Hoopla here. I wanted to make another video on some drum programming techniques, maybe some more advanced ones. And I have this downtempo tune that I'm working on, so let's dive in and take a listen. Okay, cool. So that should give you an idea of how the drums fit into this mix. Um, and so the first thing you'll notice is that it's split up into four parts: kick, snare, clap, and extra percussion. Most of the stuff lives in the extra percussion, but the most important stuff that I start with is my kick and snare. These are just in MIDI. This is a kick for my sample pack and a snare for my sample pack. Not much going on here, just a straight MIDI with a little bit of velocity for some of these ghost kicks. And then also some pitching with the snare, so I have just a little bit of pitch automation happening and a little bit of reverb automation. So not much going on there. One of the interesting things that I like to do a lot is having claps or Foley or breaking kind of flam sounds to be a little bit before or after the snare. So before, you could have it a little bit before, so it crunches into the snare, or after, so you can kind of hear the tail of the clap. So I like the kind of the late clap in this track, and that sounds like that. And it's happening on every other snare, so you get a mix of clean snare and clap snare. Next, I have addictive drums. You can use any kind of multi-sample drum kit, or even Serum has some drum kits that are good, and we can take a look at that at the end of the video. But I like addictive drums. I found a drum kit that I liked and messed with it a little bit, messed with the volume envelopes. And what you really need is just the velocity. So it's a different sample for each velocity hit. So go in, and I almost always start with something like really basic, something like completely straight. And I have another video that kind of goes into depth on how I write these basic kind of parts. But yeah, I'll just add something like a straight pattern like that, and I have my groove on, so everything's a little bit swung, and I'll just start to figure out where I want my open hats. So I'm just kind of hearing it in my head and watching as the playhead goes along, and you'll start to figure out where you like to hear, your open hats and your ghost percussion and your ghost hits. Just from doing this a lot, you'll just kind of know where they need to land. So I'll just duplicate that across, and also have no hits hitting at the same time. So then I'll also start to figure out where I want my little articulations, my little 16th notes, to kind of give it a little bit more of like a skipping vibe. And then also, next thing I can do is start to pull some of these hits off onto different articulations, so maybe a little bit half opened, somewhere in between. And you can get something really cool like that. And then from there, once I have like a cool hi-hat pattern like that's actually interesting, I'll duplicate it, maybe make some variations. And I'll go and find my my snares and start to do the same kind of things with the snares, just adding little little off notes. And with these snares, you can get kind of creative with how you do it. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about are kind of like rolls and stuff with the snares and the hi-hats and stuff, and you'll see I have them across the track here. And what I'll basically do to achieve that is to just, again, put something on straight pattern, and then mess with the velocity. And also one thing you could do is mess with the timing of it using your time warp. So I think that's something I did here, and that kind of just pulls it off grid. And you can get these kind of really cool roll kind of things. I also do them sometimes on the hi-hats, and you can just, either use your pencil tool to kind of draw the ramp you want, or use the actual ramp controls to set where you want it to start or kind of end. And I really like this feature. So that's super important. And yeah, you'll see some of that around here. With the drum fills, with the tom fills, I will do the exact same thing. Just start with the pattern that I want, the rhythm that I want. So I wanted just a do-do-dum. It's kind of a swung thing. It might be triplets if you can't get the rhythm you're looking for. But in this case, I just put in a straight pattern of 30-second notes, and then changed which tom it was hitting. And there's also being sent to some spring reverb, which gives it that sound. And I also have a different kit here. I kind of liked mixing the kind of sound of like a jazz kit with some brushes. So that's one thing you can do is mix and match kits for fills, and also use maybe a sample. Like here in the beginning, I have a drum fill that's just a sample that I like the kind of the tonality of. So I just chopped it up for the beginning. And yeah, sometimes I'll use like little loops and stuff, like shakers I feel like are hard to program. And that stuff can help out a lot. And yeah, just little drum chops. So you'll see that kind of stuff all over the project. And a lot of these are actually just parts of the drum track, which I've bounced out, like the snare here. I reversed the snare and texturized it a little bit, so you get that kind of thing. And there's also some filtering going on. So all of those things kind of come together to give it some push and pull. That's another sound that you'll hear a lot is just the classic stretched snare. Using texture mode with Ableton, just putting on texture mode and then just hitting this to kind of stretch it out and mess with the grain size. You get some really cool stuff, and then sweeping those into hits, and with some other little sample fills and stuff, just trying to give it a lot of different flavors of drum sounds and stuff, and you get something really dynamic in the end. And also, yeah, like taking full drum breaks and processing them. So here's a break from my pack, and I just went and filtered and distorted the crap out of it to kind of give it this moving kind of filtering sound, and that fits over the beat in this really interesting way. And yeah, that also has the swing on it, or no, it doesn't even have the swing on it. It just is already swung. But without everything, you can hear what it sounds like. And without repitch, it would have sounded like that. So I like to repitch my drum samples a lot. It kind of retains the the transients and everything like that, and just pitches it down, makes it a little bit softer. So I like that sound a lot. And yeah, just making a few different patterns for the hi-hats. Over here I have a little bit of a sparser pattern with more open hats. And yeah, some more of these kind of snare rolls where I just kind of put in the pattern I wanted and mess with the velocity. And yeah, I like to hit a rim there. Give it some variation. And yeah, that shows off this this drum track. There's also this kind of little percussion pattern down here, which is just made with the claps. And again, that fits well with. And yeah, that just gives a nice sense of push and pull throughout the whole track, and that's really what you're looking for with the drums, is they kind of propel the rest of the track, and kind of push and pull into the different sections with the fills. And that's why I have so many different fills and little things going on here. Yeah, like even little fill samples like we looked at, and these kind of things. And yeah, again, to kind of plug my sample pack, I have some stuff you can use in the sample pack. So all of these things that I've shown are found in the sample pack. All these little rolls, fills, full breaks, of course the kicks and the snares that I use. Okay, one more trick I wanted to show off that I forgot to mention is that Serum actually does have some multi-sample drum kits. If you just change the oscillator type to multi-sample and then go to factory and go to drum kits, you can find a couple of good acoustic kits in here that you can use in a similar kind of way to addictive drums. You have to just mess with the envelopes or the note lengths and make sure everything is legato so it's not chopping up in weird ways. But I was able to do the exact same thing, use the same techniques with using the velocity and little rolls and stuff, and also using the swing and finding the different articulations. So there's an open hat, and here's a closed one, and here's a snare, and here's a rim shot. So you can put together something that sounds pretty good, and just by using Serum. And you can also pitch it within Serum, which is pretty cool, and also use the envelopes and all of that good stuff. So that's a cool trick I want to show off. And yeah, you should be able to make a really spicy drum track with all of these things. I hope this helps, and hope this gives some insight. Leave a comment section of what you want to see, how you want to see it done. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.